our OT Society event. This is Hayley Goodwin. She's going to be talking about occupational therapy and social media. So I'll hand over to Becky.
Oh, thank you. Hello everyone. My name's Hayley. I'm an occupational therapist and I currently work at the Kingswood Centre, which is an inpatient unit for people with learning disabilities and autism. And I also work in the community of Brent. And I've come today to give you a talk about social media and especially about using Twitter as an occupational therapist. I've done this talk to OTs, occupational therapists, we now try to say, and I've also done it to social workers, speech and language therapists, doctors and nurses. I absolutely love Twitter. So, who is using Twitter at the moment? All right. Oh, right. Hey, come on. I'm very good at maths, that's why I'm an OT, but it's fun. What we're going to do today, or the next hour I think we have, is I'm going to go through about why we use Twitter as an occupational therapist and the benefits it can bring. Also going to talk about why you perhaps wouldn't use it or you're a bit fearful about using it. And then we're going to split into two groups. One group being like a novice group, and I've got some questions for us to think about if you want to start using Twitter more. And the other group can be about more experienced users of Twitter, and we can share some ideas about how they use Twitter. Does that sound okay? Is that what you wanted? Yes. Is there anything else that you'd like me to talk about? Are you done? I can do that. You might not want to see that. Oh, okay. So if you want to tweet about today, I'm at OT Thoughts. That's my handle name. That's my name. We haven't got a hashtag for today, I don't think, do we? But you might want to use hashtag OTWeek16. Those that don't know what a hashtag is, we can talk about that in the group. Okay. I'm going to use my crib sheet. I hope you don't mind. So what is social media? Social media is a way that we can connect, share, what's the other word? Exchange information through a virtual way. So we can do what we do. Should I just shut the dogs up? They looked at me very strangely. So it's what we do when we are out at a coffee shop, but we can do it in the comfort of our own homes, in our pyjamas, and under a warm duvet, with my dog on my lap. Favourite. So the 5 most popular social media platforms are obviously Facebook. Does anyone know how many users there are on Facebook?
Millions.
Millions? Millions. 1.8 billion users on Facebook. How many of you are Facebook? What do you call them? Facebook peeps. How many of you use Facebook? So almost everyone uses Facebook here. And how many of you use Facebook and you like pages that are related to occupational therapy? So you might like the College of OT, or you might like charities like MedCap. Do you all do that?
Yeah.
Then you all know that you can do that. Twitter. So this is the sign for Twitter. How many users in a month do you think connect to Twitter? So how many active users would there be in 1 month? Just shout millions, don't expect you to get it. Let's just start throwing prizes at people. 10 million. 317 million per month of active users. And per day, 340 tweets are sent. And 1.6 billion search items are used on Twitter. It's quite a big social media platform. LinkedIn. Is anyone on LinkedIn? Alright, I once got a job offer on LinkedIn, but I rarely go on it now. Just don't like it. It's not fast paced, it's not fun, it's not exciting. But there are 450 million users on LinkedIn, and it is a good way if you were thinking about doing locum work, or you want to get some ideas, because there's different forum groups on there as well. It's a good idea to sort of connect with other OTs. Pinterest. We must use Pinterest. Pinterest is like an OT's best friend.
I love Pinterest.
Yeah. resources you like, and you can have it for all sorts of things, and some of them you can hide. So I've got a secret wedding board, even though I'm not married, and I had it before I even had a boyfriend. That's weird, I know, but no one knows but you. That it's sitting in a secret. Oh my God, don't tweet that. But there are loads of OT resources on Pinterest. Is everyone aware of that? Yeah, and especially for me as an occupational therapist working in learning disability services, there is a wealth of information about sensory integration, how to make your own sensory toys, just loads and loads of stuff. So definitely, if you haven't already, give that a shot. And finally, Instagram. There's 500 million users of Instagram. Who's an Instagrammer? Don't know if that's a word, but I'm going to use it now. Yeah. I did a little search using hashtag occupational therapy, and there's 112, or nearly 113 posts just about occupational therapy as of yesterday. So you can connect using Instagram as well. But today we are mainly going to be talking about Twitter. But we can also talk about the other social media platforms. So what is Twitter? Twitter is open to everyone and it's free. Twitter allows you to talk to people or to send a tweet using 140 characters only, which can be extremely challenging if you like to talk. And you can post links to websites and to articles on there too. It's a way of broadcasting a message and receiving a very short message. It's a way of getting your opinion out there quite quickly. And you can use hashtags to follow different things. Okay? Now the reason why we should be using, or at least looking at Twitter as an occupational therapist, is because the world is changing. And the way we access health is also changing. I think it's my next slide. Oh, it's not my next slide. That's just a little thing from the College of OT. So social media allows you to communicate easily with other OTs, colleagues, supporters, policymakers, very important, journalists, even more important during Occupational Therapy Week, and related organisations. So the College of OT support you to use Twitter. Oh, this is an interesting fact, then I'll go into healthcare. So, we'll spend 1 hour to 7 minutes on Facebook and online. So when you go online, you always go on Facebook, basically, for about 7 minutes. The fastest growing demographic on Twitter is the older age group. It's the 55 to 64-year-old age range. People access it on their mobile phones, as you can probably tell. But more interestingly, is about how it relates to healthcare. And we know that things are changing. No longer do we sort of eat and work with other occupational therapists. We all live very, very busy lives. And we need someone to quickly access information. And Twitter is the answer. But also, people are using Twitter in order to get their health information. They're using social media to get their health information. Whether we think that's comfortable or not, that is what is happening. And us as an occupational therapist should be taking some responsibility for that. So 90% of 18 to 24-year-olds would trust health information on social media. How do people feel about that?
Nervous.
Why is that?
Well, social media is more about a collection of people's ideas and opinions. It's not necessarily rooted in any kind of research or scientific evidence base. You're not really going to find reliable information unless you're sure that the source is reliable.
Absolutely, yep. So if they're getting it from different apps, I know that an app called Glow, people just post stuff all the time, and they're just big bold statements, and they're not backed up with evidence. You're very right. It can be quite nerve-wracking. Facebook is the 4th largest source of health information. Is anyone scared by any of this or surprised?
I said with the last one.
The last one, what, the Facebook?
Yes, the largest source of
Yes, you'll see organisations being sponsored to go onto Facebook. If you next look, and you'll see little things to click on, little adverts to click on about health. What do you think of our role as occupational therapists then, with regards to social media?
I'd say if that many people are accessing it, and you've got 90% of 18 to 24-year-olds, we should be getting involved, really. Because if that's the form, if that's the way people are accessing information, yeah, it can be a bit scary. We've got to get involved to make sure the information we get is the right information.
Absolutely. And especially those who perhaps have mental health problems, anorexia or bulimia, or anxiety or depression. Really important. Definitely. So even if we don't choose, as occupational therapists, to use Twitter, there is an element that we should understand the function of Twitter and understand how our service users or clients or patients are using it as an occupation, as a way of accessing health, as a way of connecting with people, as a way of making friends. For me, social media is exactly the same as making a cup of tea, as going out, all the other occupations that we talk about. But I won't rant about that. That's a different story. Mix that up. So why I use social media, or why you should use social media as part of your OT practice. Society's changing, obviously, and the world's moving faster, and you need to be able to connect with people. It's really difficult now to sort of meet up with lots of occupational therapists because we all live such busy lives. But social media can allow you to meet up with OTs, not just here at London South Bank, or not just in London, but also all over the world, with loads of different opinions and thoughts and ideas. You can keep your finger on the pulse with social media. You could be the first one to find out about different articles that have been written about. You could be the first one to find out information. When Winterbourne came out, or France's report came out, I was the first one to bring lots of information to my team because it was all there, all laid out for me on social media when I just typed in France's report. I didn't have to trawl through Google, which can be very time consuming as a search engine, to crawl through what's relevant and what's not relevant. I just searched it on Twitter. I knew most of my followers, and then I knew what was reliable and not reliable. So it really can keep your finger on the pulse. And not just about OT, but also about latest things that are perhaps happening around London, cool software, great restaurants, breaking news. So yeah. Has anyone got any questions about that? Just skimming through this. Also, say that I've met quite a few people on Twitter and then consequently gone out for coffee with them. And I've also, I had a student with me about 2 years ago who I was talking to on social media, and then she turned out to be my student. So, and we already had a connection and a bond and likes and dislikes of what we knew of each other. So it really opens up that networking opportunities, and it's given me so many opportunities using Twitter. It's really opened my world, and I honestly do believe that I wouldn't be the occupational therapist I am today if it wasn't for Twitter. Does that sound weird?
No, I don't mean it horribly, because you think of social media as perhaps being something that's fun, or something that's not,
Okay, yeah.
or something that's not a real world, it's a virtual world.
Yep.
As such. Well, that's how I've come to it a bit later. So I was quite dismissive of it. But now it's like what you were just talking about there, it can be very useful as a tool.
Yes, as a tool. Yeah, absolutely. And it is just a tool as well, isn't it?
Holly, do you keep separate sort of profiles for your
Yeah.
professional life, and so would your restaurant reviews get muddled up with your OT ones, or are they quite separate for you?
Yeah, they're all together. And
Right.
I've had many conversations with people about should you have a separate professional one to your personal one. But most of the policies across the different professions say that if you are a professional. You're a professional 24 hours a day. So even if you're posting something weird on your, or dodgy on your personal one, and you're thinking it's okay, it's my personal one, you can still be held up at HCPC for that, even though that isn't your OT one. So I blend mine together. And also I think it makes me be more of a human. I'm not just all about OT. Most of the time I am. But there are other things that I like doing. So I might tweet about my, my terrible crocheting, or the fact that I've just moved into a home, or that I have a dog. Sometimes I make reference to occupational therapy even with that, but I don't have separate ones. And I don't know many people who do have separate ones now.
Okay.
Facebook for me is my private. Yeah. I don't allow service users to follow me on Facebook. I have it's not even Hayley Goodwin, it's my middle name, and I've changed my first name. So that's my private bit where I can put my photos, not necessarily me getting drunk, but my party photos. I don't do that so much anymore, but yeah, that's and then my Twitter, I just post all sorts of stuff. And service users follow me on that one, as well as professionals, as well as non-professional people. We can come on to talk about that in a bit, about highway codes and about how does that feel with you?
I only have one, and it's my name and it's got OT on it, so generally I use it for OT sort of things. I do wonder about putting out some of the trivia of my other life. It's this funny sort of thing, I haven't quite worked it out. I'm a bird watcher, so sometimes my most exciting news at weekend was I saw a merlin, and I sort of think, does anyone else want to know that? So, unless I've got a picture, I might not put that up, but maybe I should really, and other people won't think any less of me as an OT because I do that.
Of course they wouldn't. And if you were working with some patients and they saw that might even spark a really lovely conversation with us.
Yes.
And it makes you a human. You have your own valid occupations. You should be enjoying those and celebrating those. Absolutely. Yeah. So I personally wouldn't advocate for 2 separate accounts, but that is your decision to make. Because whatever you put on your personal account, it will still be held up in HCPC court. Health Professional Council. They got changed, so I'm really confused about what it is. HCPC. And I was doing a talk to nursing students about HCPC. One of them said, "You keep saying that wrong," and now I really don't know which one it actually is. And that's me going on again about how social media is an occupation, and it's something as OTs or occupational therapists we should take an interest in, just as much as we learn. Well, I did at uni. I don't know if you still do. You learn how to crochet and how to knit and how to do woodwork. I don't know if you do that anymore, but we had like a big woodworking suite and all sorts of it. I feel really old when I say that, and I'm not even that old. But social media is an occupation. Using your iPad is an occupation for some people. It's a way that we connect, socialise, exchange information. So we should care about it as occupational therapists. So I wrote an article for the OT News, as you do, and I'd advocate anyone to write articles for the OT News because it's really easy. If I can do it, anyone can do it, seriously. You can write about anything. And I wrote about Twitter, and I wrote about the 5 reasons why all occupational therapists should use Twitter. And these are my 5 reasons. And if you want a copy of the article, because I only bought 10, it's here, but there is also a poster that I did. So again, Twitter's allowed me to write a journal and do a poster presentation. So obviously to connect with people, to learn. There's a wealth of information out there. Just randomly type something into Twitter and you'll get all sorts of stuff up. Hashtag OT Talk, does anyone participate in those? Oh, fantastic! That's great. Has anyone hosted one? Are you going to?
Maybe.
Ooh! It's extremely stressful but very rewarding, so give it a go. Yeah, that would be brilliant.
What are they? Sorry.
Yeah, oh sorry, OT Talks, they're every other Tuesday, is that right? Every other Tuesday. Someone from the UK will host a topic, so they might say occupational therapy and housing, and then they'll post 4 questions over a period of an hour, and everyone will contribute to their questions using hashtag OT Talks. So you will get to see other people's opinions and thoughts about areas of practice in occupational therapy. Is that the best way to describe it? Is there anything else you want to add to that?
Except I thought it was on every Tuesday.
Is it every Tuesday?
Fortnightly, I think.
I thought it was.
Well, and they've introduced these research-focused ones as well, haven't they? So I don't know whether they're going in between the ordinary OT Talks, maybe they are.
I haven't been on them for quite a while, to be honest. So if they're weekly, that's great.
Just had one about transgender, one of the recent ones. What else have we got? Maybe.
It's Tuesday today, so I'm sure
Yeah, there was a
it is.
research one about how to get involved in research and get research grants and stuff. Yeah, all sorts.
Oh, yeah, they're all sorts of topics. Definitely worth, and they've got a blog as well, so you'll know what's coming up and if it's of interest to you, to know that to connect at 8 o'clock. Yeah, I think it's when Holby City's on. That's not what I've been doing really. Obviously to educate, so I educate others about social media, but also people obviously educate me, and on a small scale I talk about injustice and inequalities and prejudice for people with learning disabilities, so I really advocate the needs of people with a learning disability as well to others. And as a result, I met this great man who I absolutely love talking to from America, and he's just a wonderful man. I just talk to him every now and then. So you just meet wonderful people. To reflect, it's a great opportunity to talk to people that you would never ever talk to. Chief execs of big trusts start following you and then randomly sending you a tweet, you know, asking your opinion for such and such. It's absolutely wonderful because there is no hierarchy or, is that the right word? Yeah, hierarchy on Twitter. You know, you are who you are, and that everybody has an opinion. It's great. And to inspire. I try and inspire people to join Twitter, but also I get inspired. I read a really interesting article and I can't wait to take it forward. Definitely get fully inspired, and I think you will too when you start using it. Oh, you've got your hand up.
Yeah, I was just wondering, because you say you go with people that you've met on Twitter, how do you trust people that are on it?
I'm a very trusting person. I've only ever met with other OTs. I've never met a strange man on Twitter. Although I can tell you about these 50 blind dates that I've been on. But that's different. But you would obviously, you know, you would trust your instinct. If it feels wrong, it is probably wrong. But when I say I've met people on Twitter, I've met them in coffee shops. I've said to them, let's meet at this stand at OT conference so we can all meet up. So it's always in a public place. And there are always other professionals. I've never met anyone who's not another professional. Does that answer your question?
You could stick somebody's name into the HCPC website and check that they were an OT. If you were really worried, it's a good point. Just get there.
Yeah.
Today's OT talk is politics and healthcare.
Ooh. So that'll be today at 8
We've
o'clock.
got Clinton and Trump at the top headline.